Hi guys, so I'm going to be showing you in this video how I use Paint.net to create a 3D photo to post on Facebook. We'll get started here in just a second. I'm just kind of waiting for a few viewers to jump on here, so let me know if you're watching in the chat. I'm also going to link the software that I'm using in the description as well as in the chat. Hey, Programming Express, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Just out of curiosity, where are you watching from? I get people from US, the UK, Canada, India. And here is the link to Paint.net. Check it out. All right, let's get started. Let me just check my feed here, and if you guys don't mind sharing this post with somebody else that you might think would find it helpful, that'd be great. Marius, how you doing? Denmark. Wow, awesome. What's up, buddy? Okay, cool. Very cool. Thank you guys for jumping on here. All right, so what we're going to be creating is, I'm sure you guys have seen this, Apple's iPhone has kind of been leading the way with this, but it's really Facebook's technology paired with the iPhone camera, right, to create this kind of 3D post, which I just love. They're so fun to kind of scroll through and interact with. And I've been wanting to try to do something like this with my artwork, not just a photo that I take, you know, like from an iPhone or camera, but artwork that I create either on paper and scan it into the computer, or my digital artwork. So a lot of the streams that I've been doing on my digital artwork, these character drawings and stuff that I've been doing for game art, I kind of wanted to bring into this sort of interactive 3D world of Facebook posts. And so that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know if you guys can see that very well on the stream. Hopefully the frame rate's not too bad. I just made this, and I'm already seeing like things that I can maybe improve on, but I want to show you a really quick way of creating something like this using free software like Paint.net. You could of course do this in Photoshop. You can do it in Krita. So check out those options if you prefer. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. Essentially, Facebook does all of the heavy lifting here, which is fantastic. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything coming in all right? Just want to make sure. All right, so I'm going to jump over here to Paint.net and show you exactly what I did. Now, I had the artwork pretty much already created because I've been doing a lot of drawing. And so this is just my flat PNG. So this is the image, the final image that I wanted to make a 3D interactive post on Facebook. And what Facebook needs, what it's looking for, is a depth map, which is a grayscale image that Facebook will interpret as depth information. So this is what it needs, something like this. Okay, so I've got the exact same image, but I've created it in layers to end up with something that Facebook can read and translate as depth. So we end up with something like this. Even the axe head here is sort of popping out at you. Pretty cool. And you can see that's what it's doing is everything that's in the foreground is lighter, everything in the background is darker. So I'm going to try to recreate this, but maybe in a little bit more simple way. So let me just close these down. And I'm going to pull in my background first, because I really want to have a background that's basically set up and good to go. And this one's actually pretty easy. This is something that I created previously for my cards. This artwork that I've been making, just as like sort of a background. And it's essentially, I started with a photo reference. I painted over it. It's really not that great, but this sort of is the opposite, because I wanted everything that moved back into the distance to fade out into the mist. So you may end up having like a photo like this or artwork like this where the foreground's actually darker than the background. This one's actually pretty easy to do without actually making any selections or painting over anything. But what you would want to do, here's a couple of tricks. All right, I'm going to create a new layer in Paint.net right here. I'm going to grab a rectangle selection and just drag out a rectangle from the top to the bottom. And then I'm going to grab my gradient tool here, and I am on a separate layer, so I'm not destroying anything underneath here. I'm going to drag out a gradient from black to white. Black at the top, white at the bottom. And basically what this just does is give me a reference for tone, for dark and light, okay? So there it is. It's sitting there. Most of the time, because the horizon moves away from you, when you capture an image or just in drawing and you learn some perspective and things like that, the further things are away from you, the higher they are on the plane. So on a flat surface, most of the time, the further things are away from you, the higher they are up on the canvas. The closer they are, the lower they are on the canvas. So if I wanted to put somebody like maybe looking over their shoulder, right? Let me just do this real quick. And this is actually very helpful. I find to know a little bit about this so that you can create these a little bit more accurately. So if I wanted to have, like, I was looking over somebody's shoulder here, right? This is the back of somebody's head. Here's their shoulder, right? Really bad drawing, but you get the idea. So I'm looking over their shoulder. This would be the foreground, and this would be closer to white. See where that is in relation to that gradient I created? So things that move further back are going to get darker. All right, so we got that. With this particular image, I'm just going to duplicate it. I'm going to go to, I want to grayscale it, so I'm going to go to my adjustments here in Paint.net, and I'm going to go to black and white. There we go. And now it's still opposite, so everything that is dark, like these trees here, are actually closer to the viewer or the camera. So I'm going to invert this. I'll go to my adjustments again and go to invert colors. So now this will follow our little gradient guide here. So the mist actually is like furthest in the back. The trees are closer. But this is way blown out. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Control L, which will bring up my levels. I'll reset this. And here I can just play with some of these levels. So I know I want everything to be a little bit darker. Okay, so I can pull down my output here, make it a little bit darker. And then I can also play with some of the contrast in here. All right, maybe something like that. And I'll just hide that gradient guide there. And I'm just going to save this as a PNG. So I'm just saving the black and white image now. I'm just save it as a PNG. And here's the trick. So I'll save this to my desktop, and I'm going to call it BG01_depth. You can see I already have one here because I was playing with it. I'll just save over that one. So now what I know is that this depth map is set up exactly the same way as the actual photo. In other words, wherever there's lighter colors is where the objects in the photos appear. So I'll click OK and just save this. Yes, it's going to flatten it. That's fine. All right. Now we go to Facebook. Right, and I'm going to create a new post. I want a photo or video, and I'm going to drag both of these in. So I want my original background. Here it is. I want this image, and I want this one. And the trick is naming this file with an underscore depth, D-E-P-T-H. So I'm going to grab both of these files. And just drag and drop them into Facebook. So I'm doing this on the computer, right? You could create a depth map on your phone with a program like Sketchbook Pro, or maybe even some of your camera apps, anything that will allow you to do some adjustments or create layers. So here we are. It gives me a preview. Look at that. There it is. And that's what I was going for. I wanted the trees and these little bits of leaves that are kind of floating by. I wanted all of that to appear as if, give the illusion as if it was in the foreground, and everything in the background to be pushed away. So this is my forest painting in 3D. Facebook does the calculations, and there it is. So this should also respond just like the photos that you see, people making with their iPhones. As you scroll through, it'll respond on your phone, even to the gyroscope that's in your phone, as well as the gestures and the touch interaction that your mobile device would have built in. So that's all I did. I did that, and then I added my dwarf on top, and of course made sure that he was lighter or brighter in the image, and then the background was darker. And you can see here I even added just very slight variations. So the axe head here, gradients will work. They don't have to be flat colors. Gradients will work. So like his arm is actually a gradient. It gradiates from light to dark and actually fades completely into his torso. His head I made a little bit lighter. It does look a little like paper cutout, but I'm okay with that. And that's how I've created this 3D post. So thank you guys for watching. Do you guys have any questions? Let me just check the chat. So I had the artwork already created. Hi, Marius, programming expert. Anybody else who's watching, thank you guys for hanging out. Paint.net is what I used, and just the power of Facebook. Pretty cool. I want to check this out now on my phone. I'll open those posts in the Facebook and see. Yeah, that's cool. So on Facebook, on the camera, you can see, or on the phone, see how that interacts with the gestures and the gyroscope in the phone? Pretty cool. I like that. And let's check out the dwarf as well. Check that out. So even as you scroll through, hopefully you can see that in the camera, that 3D parallax effect is happening. So from a 2D image, artwork that was created, I actually made all of this artwork in Paint.net as well. We now have a 3D interactive post. And it was a lot of fun to do. Well, thank you guys for watching. Try out making your own artwork into 3D posts. You could also do this with photos, of course, as well. See if it works for you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.